action group
Yeah.
snuck a infested dagger into a guy's heart at Stonehenge, and that affected me directly.
Well, why don't we go ahead and start with you, Patty? Since we talked last week, we were talking about major changes happening, and I'm telling you, as I started the show, I feel a real ripple in the force, and it wasn't even about the election I was thinking.
No.
Uh, what would you like to share with the listening audience?
We had to do a little emergency operation last weekend.
Yeah,
Um, they tried to restart Saturn as a sun,
right.
and we had recrystaled it and put a loose reversal pump in it, and a new broadcast array at the bottom to broadcast Gaia signal where Satan, i.e., Saturn's, was before. So, and what we didn't know until they tried to start it up as the sun, they tied it to Neemus. They were trying to restart Neemus as a weapons platform again. The proverbial Death Star. They got 4 of those things out there like that. Um, and now, basically Neemus is slagged. It's trashed. I captured the videos of it. Yeah, energy flashing off of it like crazy. There was fleets, in orbit and or docked with that thing that are now trash. We trashed your entire fleet when they tried to restart the sun. Because Saturn is the original sun of the system. Most people don't know that. So, in effect, there are some words in the Bible that bear some truth. Um, was Satan kicked out of the heaven? Yeah, he's the original son of the system. He was shut down and kicked to the curb when they brought in a better, higher frequency sun. That was at the request of Eve, before Earth was even here. So there was some truth to that.
Patty, I would like to go back because it's a lot for my own little brain to process about what you telling us about how Earth came to be here.
It was driven here via the Sun Gate Transit System. It came from the same system where Gaia found the sun we have and told her mother about it. And her mother asked and had it brought out here. Basically, to kick in the ass the development of the Elven race on Eden. It didn't really work. Um, and the excuse that Eve used to get this planet out here was that she needed another auxiliary lab to try some other experiments with her kids. But in reality, what she did was gave it to Gaia to make her own class. I know
And
that's a lot to take in.
I know it is. It is. But, what I do in my own work, I get a lot of people telling me this thing or that thing about predictions for the future and how dark it's going to be. What I always do is the first thing is to ask Mother Earth herself, because we all can do that. Everybody is psychic. Everybody has this connection. And so I ask her. And so, for instance, when they're telling me that Nibiru is going to come and cause all this havoc, and or the dark forces, the New World Order, or whatever you want to say, is going to do this, first I ask Earth, and then I ask the Sun. And look at their relationships, because to me it seems they're the primary drivers. Any comments?
Yeah, the sun is the okay. How do I explain this? If you have an orchestra and they're all putting out sound, if you can imagine the conductor having a master sound, that's our sun. We have magnetic lines that go out, magnetic and electrical lines that go out from the sun to each of the planets. And you see this when NASA throws up you know the monitoring and the CMEs and whatnot that they say come off the sun. That whole monitoring thing, it has the dotted lines that curve out to each of the planets. Well, those are magnetic and electrical, and they're also control lines, because you need to understand we're moving through space under warp drive. The sun is the master drive of that, and we all follow
Yeah, a
kind of
lot of people
behind it,
don't
and
think
a
about that. I just
fire.
want to interject, Patty, if I may. A lot of people don't think of that. They think of the Earth circling the sun, but they have to realize the sun is moving in our galaxy at extremely high velocity.
And what they teach you in school that it, I mean, what they teach you in school is like you're a plate with the sun in the middle and
Right, right.
traveling sideways, and that's not true.
But the plate is moving extremely fast.
Um, we're all tied via those lines and actually moving. If you picture all the planets on the plate and the sun in the middle, we're not traveling sideways. We're traveling straight up
Hmm.
from the sun, and all the planets travel behind it in the exact same curve that you see in DNA, and a trail behind, beside it.
Could you explain that? This is the first time, Patty, that I've heard that it put that way. So you're saying that the same kind of what do you put it? Sacred geometry or the actual shape of space is how we are moving in relation to the sun with our own DNA. Could you please expand on that?
Um, it's easier to do with a graphic, and I do have a link. I'll put it up. I don't know if you can, if there's going to be a way you can post
We can
this.
post it in the chat. Absolutely.
Okay. Because I didn't go into the chat this time.
I am pasting. I'm actually posting the Saturn stuff here. So I'm posting on the side
Not,
too.
not the Saturn stuff. Where's my link for the true way that the if you picture the spiral of a DNA, you pulls up the DNA, and then imagine the sun up in the middle of that, and added enough poles for all the planets, you have the way we move through space. In essence, there's other issues besides that too, but we'll get into that as things go along, like the where the ley lines and everything Earth came from and all of that.
Well, this is super interesting to me. I kind of operate from what resonates with my heart, as opposed to what my logical mind says. So I kind of put that aside.
Here it
And
is.
you understand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when you say something like that, I'm just processing that and going, "Whoa, this makes sense." And I do want to say we have a number of people on the call. I want to thank you all for joining us. And, we're going to open it up in the second hour for questions for Patty. But, Patty, I want to be sure you have time to, communicate everything. When we were talking last week, we were talking about space battles and a real shift with removing some dark energies, some negative ET influences. Would you like to update us on that?
Yeah, that's the real change that went on over the weekend.
That's what I feel.
With destroying their fleet, also they did try. They did actually try a last-ditch effort of faking the ET invasion and failed. That's what was going upstairs Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Flopped completely. But you got to understand, they were, all they had left really was maybe one 60th of their fleet, and the rest was B-51 and B-52 bombers with holograph equipment. So, good luck with that. The 3 times they tried before, with all of the stuff they had available, and they still couldn't do it. These
telling you,
folks are psychopathic.
yeah, I know.
Didn't do it when you had all this. You couldn't do it when you had all this equipment. But they're the type that they're going to try until they're dead. That's the way they are.
I'm telling you, I felt a real victory, and I have to confess, I celebrated with some chocolate and some champagne.
Yeah, Trump's sort of a placeholder. He's not even human. He wasn't even born on this planet. So, yeah, and he's not as bad as for every nasty video you see about Trump, there's good ones too. He's not as bad as everybody makes out. The only thing that we have a real issue with is he's a major league tied up fund wise for the
Yeah.
pipelines, and that's a major concern.
Well, and I think
He's
another
tied
one
into
too.
that financially.
Well, another thing too, he's a known part of the Jesuit team. So, I mean, those do have things in pedophile rings. So,
Listen, I don't have stars in my eyes about this, but I'm telling you, Hillary is an open criminal. I think there was a real level where the mass consciousness, despite all the manipulations, actually made a choice. We're just sick of war. To me, it looks like Trump will divest us from the war machine.
The decision that Trump was going to win was made on Sunday, but understand this: he was supposed to be assassinated, and it's our side that's keeping him alive.
There
until
were
we
many
get-
attempts.
It's our side
I
that's
have said
keeping
this.
him alive until Obama, Clinton's, the Bushes, and the whole Queen Elizabeth group are in jail.
Yeah, I saw this as well. What I saw is that there was ET and angelic help, as well as a lot of powerful humans involved in the shift, because we're sick of the war.
Do you know what the key issue is?
What's that?
Trump is not of the Tudor bloodline. They're out. They're out. They
Well,
know they lost the 65% vote to keep their system in. So it's not just them that's out. It's the whole crew in England, the whole, everywhere the Tudor group has their fingers. They're out. That's Rome. That's everywhere. Not just here.
Yep.
That is the importance of it.
And it's not just planet Earth, right?
I was gonna say the rippling through the solar system must
Yeah.
be extensive, right?
They lost.
Kaboom, kaboom,
Plus,
Draco.
our the Team Tribe, Earth Human Defense, owns the Ring of Midas as well. So, yeah, they're out.
I supported Bernie for that, or for the whole thing. So I couldn't get behind Trump or Hillary. Neither of them, in my mind, should have been allowed to participate in that. So
What you need to understand is no votes made any difference at all in this. This was a tactical decision.
Right.
I didn't vote at all. And,
No.
and most of all of us that on the team didn't vote at all because what
It didn't
votes
make
were
any
were
difference.
immaterial. Yeah,
It was a done deal.
well, that's the thing. Like, I cast a blank ballot in protest for that, and that was my choice. I did local representatives, and the amendments that only affect me because I knew the system was rigged in such an elitist form on both sides. Personally, Trump's dealing with allegations and hearings, and Hillary, we all saw that.
Now, Pattie, I want you to tell us what you're seeing. When we talked the other night and last week, you were showing us the battles going on. What is happening now? Have they subsided, or is it still as active as it was?
it's not as active, but there is still one battle cruiser parked upstairs to the station. I guess the last, waiting for the last runners. Is what I call them, runners. But as far as I know, the Silver Legion has stopped blowing them up as they leave, but they have been interdicting them because there's several out there currently that I can look at that are interdicted. Pull over, and prepare to be boarded or be destroyed, basically.
So we basically won, or where are we at?
Yeah, we have the ones that are hybridized that the signal's not enough to drive them off the planet, and that's your Tudor group. We have to deal with them. That's our problem to deal with. The folks upstairs can't come down till we deal with that. At which point, the Silver Legion will come down and set up triage centers and start healing folks. And we can get on board, started with building the enclaves. And because part of the deal I worked out with them is we get replicator technology, and in exchange, I let them set up um, embassies and recruit healed humans for the Silver Legion.
I'm telling you, one of my spiritual guides is an ET who is part of the battle fleet. And she came to me, I think it was Monday, with so much positive energy. Uh, and it was just like, wow, so I am feeling very positive.
The rekeying of Saturn did that. That was the game changer.
Wow.
They had an entire fleet out around Neemus when it went boom. Killed it.
Do you
That's
want
why
to?
the ring makers of Saturn have gotten involved, because they're like doing Coast Guard duty, really. They've even come here to Earth, landed ships, picked up people in the United States, went and landed off the coast of Japan. I assume they're picking up Yakuza.
What is Yakuza?
That's the Red Dragon edition of the Tudor group, and they're the ones that were basically all the people who owed them, or that they had, capitulated to the Yakuza, which is the Japanese mob.
These are
They were the
humans,
ones
though,
that
right?
talked to Fukushima and all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's actually a branch of the Tudor group. But the main line of the Tudor group got involved with the Dracos. The Red Dragon group got involved with the Zionists and the Anunnaki. There's not really a whole lot of difference, but there are differences. They call themselves the Red Dragon group.
For myself, I feel that it's we can have some we can celebrate a little bit. Cautiously, we still need to be vigilant. It's not like our job is done. But I feel like that we've had a major victory. Would you agree with that, or what is your
Yes,
view?
we've had a major victory, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have to get the G4S group and all the private ties, quasi-military, groups in hand. We need to bring the troops home. They need to get the UN folks off of here. We need to take the whole UN and prosecute them for, doing a contract to kill off all but 2% of the remaining humans on this planet. There's a lot to do, even after we get the riffraff out. There's already a bill in Congress. It's already had all the signatures and everything for DC to be changed to the 51st state and kick them right off this continent entirely. That's already on the floor of Congress.
It's very interesting, Patty. For myself, this is you. Are reflecting back exactly what I'm feeling. It looks to me that we've won a major victory, but there's much work to do with cleaning up the debris.
The biggest thing is bringing forth all the knowledge of everything that's been done to the general populace, so that we can pull this high-end tech out from the dumbs, get rid of the fossil fuel and nuclear fuel issue right now. That's the big one. Because then that shuts down the whole standoff at the tribes over the stupid, oil pipeline and all of that.
Yeah.
Just nips it right in the bud.
I was on air till 4 a.m. the other night during the election. And this is what I said on air, is that now perhaps we will see free energy technology, and of course that's a misnomer. It's not really free energy, but higher technology of energy coming out. Prosecution, reinvestigation of 9/11 and the crimes of the Clinton-Bush cabal, all of that coming forward. Do you think that is correct?
The magnetic motors, that is basically free energy once you build them and hook them to a generator. There's others which are nothing more than two poles out in your yard with cables and a special set of circuitry set up that lets you tap into the energy that's hitting the Earth's magnetic field. And again,
Right.
That's free energy too.
Right.
There's ton. I've been putting out all that kind of document lately, links to the videos and people to watch.
Tell everybody where they can find that. Make sure everybody knows where to go to on Facebook or whatever websites.
Yeah, people today, I guess they spell my name wrong. It's PATTIE space L, capital L, dot, space, brassard, BRASSARD, like the coat of arms. That's my address on Facebook. If you can't find me, it's likely you've been putting a Y on the end of my name or something like that.
Instead of IE.
Instead of the IE.
Right.
The other one is the Pattie Brackett, which is my mother's maiden name, BRACKETT dash 2014 on Skype.
Go ahead and repeat that. I want to give people time because they need to grab a pencil or whatever.
Okay. PATTIE BRACKETT dash, that's the one in the middle, 2014 on Skype.
And go ahead, Karen. It sounded like you wanted to. Do you want to tell everybody, any links that you want to share?
Well, actually, what I want to do is just make sure I'm putting that forward for Pattie into the chat room and stuff too. So I'll forward mine in there as well, clanmother13 at Gmail. But we've got those. I'll just put them into your chat room. They're right there now.
And all the links to the videos. I tend to post a lot of stuff on Facebook that's, just to get people woke up. Because that's what it's down to now is getting the people woke up, getting the Gwen Tower shut down so Gaia can do her fixing as well. And when we were looking at New York with the airport issue and tracking planes, Monday during the elections and everything, they were still scalar waving New York like crazy.
What is happening now? Is that ended or is it still going on?
Still going on.
Yeah. Yeah, the battle's not over.
Here's the thing. Hillary didn't even, she just trashed her own people, walked out, didn't say nothing to him. Conceded to Trump privately in a private phone call. She says it's not over. She thinks it's not over. They're still paying the Trump protesters.
Yeah, we saw some violence still happening.
So, I mean,
they're
psychopathic, so I guess we just can't understand what's going through their head at this point.
Let me comment on that. So I got into a flamethrower war on Facebook unintentionally. It was not my point. I merely said voting for Hillary is like telling your rapist, "Thank you, may I have another." And that started a firestorm. I didn't mean to, but I realized I cannot speak to these Clintonistas logically because they've been so mind programmed at an emotional level. And so this mind control is still, as far as I can tell, still in mega, operational status.
Okay, here's something a lot of people who don't know what's going on might not have noticed. But did you notice it was a really Obama at the White House this time?
No, I did not. Please tell us.
The other ones can't walk in the White House after what I did to it. So even if she won, she couldn't walk in the White House.
Wow.
So I don't know how they, even thought about getting around that one because, all the ET ones, the dark entity ones, were locked up. They had to bring the real Obama back because he's really the only one that can go in there now. And even he's going to jail with all the information that's been good, was, released targeted at Hillary, also implicated him in major treason things too. So he's going to jail too. The real one. Because they're going to take him out when he's at the White House and none of the others could be in there. Because I also put a biotech shredder down there. So you can't even send in the clones. The chips don't work.
You know, Patty, I want to tell you, I am very discerning and sensitive when I look at these things. And I can tell the listening audience that we operate at these levels, that it really works. So I want to just, Patty, I want to
I
tell
don't know
you.
if I can send you the like what I did to the Eiffel Tower.
No worries. I just want to tell you, I have so much gratitude for the work you're doing. For me, I have to tell you, uh, you're real. You know, we have so much disinformation, so many psyops. Uh, it's my feeling that we have really had a major victory, and it's not like we don't have to do some work. You know, it's not like the battle's over, but I am feeling a huge shift in the consciousness. It seems that we have a smoother path. Am I wrong, or what do you think?
No, when I started dropping these things over entire continents and entire sides of Earth, after doing Saturn and everything, yeah. I mean, look what happened at the standoff. 8 cops took off their badges, turned them in, and moved over to our side.
Which standoff was that?
At the pipeline Standing Rock.
Oh, right. Okay.
You get tangible results.
Yep.
That you can see visibly, immediately.
And one of the tangible results is I'm seeing people that were totally in favor of Hillary. I'm telling you, I live on the island of Misfit. Never mind. Anyway,
Misfit toys. Yeah.
No, well, I'll just say it anyway. Actually, I live on the island of Misfit lesbians, right? And there was a lot of support for Hillary, and I'm trying to say logically. Do you even looking at the crime she's done? I mean, have you seen the WikiLeaks, what Julian Assange and what has been revealed about her? Or even, actually, I would suggest touching our own hearts and understanding the degree of Satanism and the dark energies there.
I mean, all that aside, the big thing in my book that she did, she made a deal with Khan in Japan after Fukushima. All the food that even Japan wouldn't buy and eat, she got the barcode issue in court for where food comes from overturned, and she took all that food from the radioactive contaminated food from Japan, labeled it as from China, and put it on the shelves in Walmart in the United States. That is mass murder wholesale.
Yep. Yeah, it's genocide.
So everything else aside, that alone, that's death penalty grade stuff right there. Because the damage, even if they don't die, if they don't eat enough to die, the damage to the genome takes 10 generations to undo.
Yeah.
10 generations.
Yep.
Not of time of breeding. 10
Yeah,
generations
that's
to get rid of.
In our current timeline, that's approximately about 300 years, I would think.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, assuming we have kids at the age of 25, which is an average.
Now, bear in mind that waste that doesn't stay in their body goes through the septic system, and you now have pools all over the United States of that waste. And if you have a septic tank out back with a leaching field, that's now been made radioactive.
Yep.
I mean, the implications alone of what it does to the people is just the start of the issues when you do things like that. Because there's ramifications that go way down the line and persist, even if you deal with it at the human level.
Right.
But then again, we have that whole nuclear cabal here that's got to go down to and be prosecuted and get rid of the reactors and the whole nuclear medical, which is that's mind blowing in and of itself, and I deal with that because I mean, even my cardiologist wanted to put radioactive content into my blood to do a scan. I said the reason I have heart problems is partially, because of radioactive content caused it to mutate, and you want to put more radioactive content in there to diagnose? Forget it. We're not going there ever.
They did that
I'm a
to.
my embassy officer for the military. Okay, there's nothing you can lie to me about nuclear content because I am a professional. I know more than you do. Because I mean, the nurses, the doctor's nursing LPN or whatever you want to call her assistant, tried to tell me that she had breast cancer, that she had chemotherapy, and all this. It's
Yeah.
like, good for you. Well, you just killed all your 21st chromosomes, so your body can't do any more repair.
Yeah.
Does that get rid of cancer? Yeah, but the next thing to hit you means you go bye bye because your body can't do any repairs anymore,
Yeah.
ever. And it kills 97% of everybody it's used on. That's the hard numbers. 96%, no, 97% of radioactive content when used to cure a cancer kills the patient.
Yep.
So that's gonna go. It's gonna go.
And it is going.
The problem is Trump's behind all these idiots. You got to understand who runs the power plants, and he's financially tied to them.
Yeah.
So there are issues with that that are still outstanding with him playing the earmarker for now.
Yeah.
But he does understand it's our side that's keeping him alive because he's supposed to already be dead.
Well, from what I've been monitoring, it looks like there's already been a number of attempts at taking him out.
Yeah. Which is why after he had the meeting with Obama, he scooted, and he has his own security force. He doesn't trust the Secret Service. I don't blame him because they're cabal too.
It's funny. When I was on air the other night, doing the election coverage, and then when it finally was clear that the masses of people, and I was kind of joking on air. I said, we've won, and I think it's because the mass consciousness and through the internet, and but it's actually more than that. It's we are psychically more connected.
I have that tool I put out there that does nothing but open the third eye and connect to the global consciousness.
Exactly. But it was reflected in the internet. So what I said is, actually, I'm going to take credit for it because it was my show that actually shifted it. And I was just totally teasing. But I do feel that what we've done with our communication is we really have reached people. And when we talk to each other's heart, I've always been saying on my show, and Thomas can back me up, and Karen, and is that what we are choosing to do here is our choice, and what I've chosen, and what you, Patty, and Karen, and Thomas, and everybody, is to choose love and to choose a positive future, because everybody's always telling me these doomsday scenarios, and I'm not having any of it. I'm saying we have the power, we have the spiritual connection to make the future what we desire. And what I've always said is, my prayer is that your every heart's desire come true. That is what my true wishes are.
I mean, I may put the big tools out there with guys' help and put them in place, grow them in place, but without all the other crews doing all that they've been doing, because
That's
we
right.
don't work alone in this. It doesn't work unless you get
It's up to our
the other
consciousness.
folks on board.
I think a lot of people just don't want the responsibility for owning that kind of power that is ours. but we have it, and we can choose to manifest the reality we desire, because reality is not a fixed object, in my view, anyway.
Well, even the stuff they saw through the looking glass. I mean, is that set in stone? No.
And by the looking glass, I'm guessing you're describing some kind of high-tech technology.
Yeah, you use two of them facing each other. There's other stuff that's got to go in. Originally, with just one, you could just see. You didn't get audio or anything like that. You had to do two together to get full, audio and all of that. And when they first tried to go through, they blew it up. But they did eventually work out a way where they could go forward and backward in time and get the results. And if they didn't like the results, they could actually go back in time, change things till they got the results they want. But guess what? They still, as of December 21st, 2012 to December 21st, 2017, because we transitioned through the galactic plate, you can't use them. And the interesting thing is, right before they had to shut them all down, this was early December of 2012, there were a 24% chance of getting what they want, and right before it went off, it dropped to 17. So the possibility of them even getting what they wanted was so small even then that, they were throwing everything at it to try and, the whole thing since 2012 has been desperation rush measures to try and get what they wanted anyway.
The most powerful technology is our consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Karen. It sounded like you wanted. Do you want to add anything, Karen?
And I think it was Thomas.
Actually, I was just listening so quietly. I was muted even.
We have many others on the call, and we're coming up to the top of the hour pretty quick, and we are going to open the phone lines. We have John and Andrew and Conrad on, and so Pattie, we're going to let others ask questions of you.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, I am feeling a lot of joy of accomplishment. It's hard to explain. I think a lot of people are having a lot of issues come up as the actual frequency of the universe changes. So stuff they've wanted to repress or not deal with is coming more to the forefront.
That's going to be a problem for people, because there's a lot of people who've done a lot of shitty things and never even acknowledged it. That's going to come back and bite them in the ass and smack them in the brain. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that just are going to have to learn to cope and come out of the fog.
Yeah, they can't. This is my view. I had a dream. Karen, I think I told you about this. I probably said it on air, Thomas. You may remember. I can't remember. But what I saw was that with this shift in the very frequency of reality that we find ourselves in, that we co-create, we actually create a sphere. Reality and time and space is far more malleable, in my view, than people realize for the most part. So all that stuff we thought we could get away with and could repress, and the parts of ourselves that we didn't deal with, and it's coming up to the forefront. And what I saw in the dream is a big wave that I was floating above, and I was looking down and seeing all these people in distress. Then a higher being came to me, like an angel or something. I don't even, I can't define it, because the more you define something, the more you limit it in your consciousness. What I can merely say is that this being told me that I am not being distressed by it, because I've chosen to act with integrity, with honor, and with love. And that's where I would suggest what people can look at to help cope with any of their past actions or thoughts, or the way they've operated to move forward.
I mean, going forward, if there's anything that would help people understand what the ascension process is going to be like, watch Atlas Shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah.
Is that a movie? Where can we find
Yeah,
that?
it's
Is
a
that
television show. It's also a book.
By Ayn Rand, actually.
Ayn Rand? Right.
That'll give you sort of an idea, and it sort of ties in, kind of, sort of, but not really, with the whole issue or the whole concept of the rapture, where people are going to kind of disappear because you're moving to a higher energy density level, and your body shifts to a higher frequency level. So for the people left in the low density range, you would kind of disappear. You're still on Earth. It's just you move out of that range where things can be different radically. It's the same thing that they did kind of sort of with Eden. It's moved out a half step out. So it's still here, but you can't see it. Can't really interact with it other than going through the gates.
Now, Pattie, we are coming up to the break. I want to be sure if there's anything that you want to communicate that we haven't touched on yet, that you have space for that. And then we'll open it up to our fellow on this call and the listeners as well.
We have game planned out to, how to move forward. I mean, it's not like we're just wandering around clueless here. There's still key things that need to be done, but we do have a game plan. We have the resources in place to heal, to get everybody healed, and not just the United States either. We're talking globally. There are 397 battle planets with personnel, equipment, and everything waiting to help. But it has to come. We have to take these idiots down and ask for help.
That is so beautiful. So what you just said is the healing is there, and there is incredible help available. So I would suggest to everybody listening and participating in this call that we ask for the healing and the peace and the shedding of the dark energies. I myself, I don't feel any need for vengeance or persecution of the criminals and the people that have harmed us. I have compassion, but maybe I'm naive in that.
The people, as they're healed, would shift to the, like it shows in the Atlas Shrugged, you switch to the higher frequency. There's still folks like me and the work crews who have to clean up this mess.
Right.
So will the enclaves be built here? Yes. Because it's not just a matter of getting the ascended folks, sorted out and moved up to that higher level. It's fixing the mess that was made here.
Yeah.
And getting rid of the fractal virus and all the rest of it. And getting, yeah. I mean, am I a light worker? And a lot of light workers are all happy-go-lucky. No hate, no vengeance, nothing like that. Well, there is a work crew here that has to take that role and do that job. That's me. I'm a former military sergeant. I'm a combat veteran, and I'm prepared to do that, and I can do it without hate in my heart.
What I've been saying is that where we put our attention, our consciousness, can facilitate that. So I want to ask everybody participating and listening to ask for the highest good and to facilitate that work. We can make short work of it with our many hands and our intention.
Because until we do that, it's not an issue really with the people walking around. They still have their souls. You need to understand how so very many souls, despite everything we've already done and all that we've already released, until we take these folks down hard here at this level, those souls don't go free. And there's souls off planet yet that we have to find where they are and bring them home, heal them so that they can go to the next level as well.
It's been said that if one person is not free, then none of us are.
Right.
So let's send a intention, a prayer, however you want to put it, out to the universe for that healing to take place.
At least here in the system, they can do it. They can heal because of everything I've, with me and my crew have done to all the planets. As long as they're in Sol system, they can get it. It's the ones that are not, which that's a long road ahead. Yeah.
It starts from within, and
it can't with the way they're on. I mean, this is going to be one system that's cleaned of the fractal virus and the interference of the plasma AIs. That the same thing has to go down basically in every system in the Milky Way and every galaxy at this level of creation. It's not just here, folks. We are the bottom of the bucket. That's all. This is, get on the bottom, start working your way up. That's what the folks upstairs. And that's why people don't understand why they didn't just come down and help us out and get rid of these folks and go. A, it's against the rules.
Right.
And B, we are dropping the bucket insofar as what their job is. They are here to help, but we are not their priority.
Let's go into that when we come back from the break, and we're going to open up the phone lines as well. Everybody, we will be right back.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Enjoy your extra big-ass fries.
You didn't give me no fries. I got an empty box.
Would you like another extra big-ass fries?
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're having
trouble.
trouble.
Come on. My kids are starving.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas, freedom of speech, but above all, we believe in freedom of existence through self-reliance. This station is 100% listener-supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift for a $100 donation. 35,000 seeds. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, the shit hits the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the megacorps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also a DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents and the offline home canning, how to do everything website, all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Looking for a nightcap to fill your listening needs? Come join us on Spaced Out Radio with me, Dave Scott, right here on Revolution Radio. Monday through Friday for 3 hours a night, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. We will take you down the supernatural path. From ET contact to the paranormal and all of the spiritual, cryptid, and conspiracy stories in between. You can find us right here on Revolution Radio, at spacedoutradio.com, on Twitter at spacedoutradio, and on Facebook at Spaced Out Radio Show. Spaced Out Radio. It's a night of talk and interaction. Are you experienced?
The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite, surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing, in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric fan. The lineup consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal lotus-o-deltoid type, placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator, every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible tremie pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meters.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio, taking the confusion out of transmutated lunar girdle springs for 4 years and running. Revolution Radio, the #1 listener-supported alternative media radio on the planet. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome back. Hour 2 on Studio A of Ground Control. And we're having a follow-up from last week's show. If you're just joining us, we've got Karen Cave, Pattie, Andrew. Oh, sorry, my Skype is starting to glitch. Oh, decline. Okay, there we go. Myself, Keith, and John from last week. And we can't thank you enough for joining in. Support the station. Support the 95-plus hosts and producers to this show. And there's more than that because we're always growing. That being said, click the donate tab, help support the station, and look at the multitude of ways you can help donate and get involved. If you can't give your time, or if you cannot give your money, give your time. Tell your friends about Revolution Radio. Tell a stranger.
And you can get stuff. This is a two-way street. You, the listeners, make this possible. I have so much gratitude to Mike Rinley, the creator of this incredible network, and the opportunity for us to share. I can't even tell you how grateful I am, Pattie, that you're on with us. And we are opening the phone lines now, and we have many, Andrew and John and Karen. I want everybody to talk. I'm going to try to mute myself and allow other people to participate. But I want to be sure, Pattie, is there anything you would like to share that you haven't gotten to yet?
To clarify what I meant with the statement just before we went to break, what does that mean intrinsically? We have to take the steps. Like, for instance, all the popes and the bishops and the caliphs and all the folks who are pushing these false religions, they need to be taken down and prosecuted because they know the falsehood they push. And beyond that, prosecute them for destruction of evidence. Case in point, we already have a case against the Smithsonian for destruction of evidence.
Right.
Of the truth of human history. That's what I mean by we have to. This is our job to clean this up. They can help us in taking out the interfering ETs who don't belong here. The rest of the mess is ours to clean up, and they'll willing to give us 1,000 years of help. After that, we're on our own. So it's a big job. But bear in mind, when you get your DNA sorted out and you get back to original factory equipment, body-wise, in this avatar you're driving around in, you're looking at 1,000 to 1,700 year lifespan. So that's a big change.
I want to make a point as well that for me, work is fun. I really enjoy being creative. Before the show, I don't know, maybe somebody on the management side can tell me. When I tuned in, it looked like the person that hosts the show prior to us was not on air. I heard dead air. Perhaps that was just a bit, but there's a lot of repercussions happening, Patty, as you said. But for me, the work is fun. It's what we're here to do. It's our purpose. It illuminates. We illuminate each other. So I see it as opportunity.
I mean, yeah, you get a lot of people talking. Why would a superior species that has been out in the galaxy for thousands of years come and want to take Earth? What you don't understand is humanity is really, really super unique out there. We have the creative spark, the imagination to make things that have never existed before. That is the uniqueness of humans. That's why our DNA is marketable out there. They try to sell the DNA so that other races could, approach some degree of what we are as Gaia originally designed us.
They took mine. The Greys came to me when I was just a child, when I was 4 years old. Most traumatic thing, I can't even describe it. I wrote a poem about it. It's so far beyond unbelievable, it's incomprehensible. There's no way to communicate it unless you've actually experienced it.
I've gone off on tangents on this subject before because there's races out there with quad pole DNA, there's 6-pole, there's 12-pole, and all of this sort of thing. But guess what? The basis of this level of creation is base 3. You can't beat it. And Gaia designed us base 3, using the 3 primary frequencies of this entire level of creation. And by our DNA and the fact that it bonds not just directly across, but up and down as well when it's properly put together, you get all the others' abilities all the way up to 12. As a consequence, even though we're base 3, you can't beat it. And it makes you immune to the fractal virus and the influence of the plasma AI and all the rest of it.
It's the antithesis to the binary code we've been impinged upon.
Yeah. That's why the Dracos originally pulled our 3rd pole and knocked us down to 2, to make us controllable. Because otherwise we'd just look at them and cause every molecule in the body to disassociate from every other and turn them into a pile of dust. We had that ability.
Yep. And we are regaining it. We're re-remembering it, I guess. In other words, we are remembering our own power.
If you consider each planet and each system that's habitable, and not just the Milky Way, but in every galaxy as a classroom, we are the most unique classroom ever designed, ever. There's only been one other even similar to it, and that was the first world that Eve ever designed, which wasn't even in the Milky Way. And the race of people, her kids that she raised there, the sole survivor of that world being wiped out is Gaia. And she was like a child prodigy. And she made us.
Now we are in the second hour, Patty. We want our fellows on this call to be able to talk to you. And John, what would you like to ask Patty? John, are you with us, sir?
Yep. I just had to unmute myself. How you doing?
Very well, sir.
Cool. Hey, just want 2 quick things and ask a question. You guys mentioned Hillary earlier. One of my family members is a cop, and he was on security detail. And he said that when she found out she lost, she started breaking things and destroying her room.
Yeah.
To the point where they almost kicked in the door thinking something was going on, and they opened the door. It was just, everything was destroyed in it.
That sounds like her.
That's because she thought the fix was in and it wasn't.
Yeah, and she
Oh, I would
totally
imagine
lost
so.
it.
I would imagine so.
Any further comments, John?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's more of a statement, but Patty. I've kind of felt the same way when you mentioned earlier that some part of the good guys have to do the dirty work, and I really feel that way. Based on my experience, that it kind of sucks, but it needs to be done, and I say it all the time. Nothing will get done until these people are taking off the field, and somehow I don't think jail time's going to do it or even be allowed.
Well, like when we took the South Pole, I bore the responsibility for calling in the strike from space that destroyed their power plant and a bunch of the people down there that died during that campaign.
Yeah,
they upstairs will not take that responsibility. It's illegal for them to take that responsibility and do those actions unless they're called for by us.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't think Hillary is going to go see jail time at all.
Well, she still thinks she's going to get off because she thinks Obama pardoning her is going to work, but Obama's going to jail too. So
what? I'm curious. What would
and
he?
Trump's already said he's going to
with?
overturn every single decree
that
Obama put out there.
Executive order, all of them.
What would Obama be charged with exactly?
Treason. He was funding and supplying directly ISIS and ISIL with arms, food, and supplies, and training and everything directly.
They can
We've
really
known this for years, but now we've got the proof.
Oh yes, John. It's all right there.
Well, I know that we've been funding ISIS. We basically made them, and Al Qaeda, all that stuff. But I find it interesting that they could directly link it to him. That's
up to as little as 3 weeks ago was the last time Obama did a supply drop to them. 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I always found it weird that these ISIS fighters had NATO weapons and U.S. frag grenades on. And not to mention, sometimes they'd have dummy training grenades too. I always found that odd.
So yeah, there's a lot of the whole thing with hitting the Doctors Without Borders hospital.
Yep,
that was done at his command. A lot of the stuff that they claim was accidents was not accidents.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to confuse a hospital, in the middle of nowhere for something other than a hospital.
But I mean, okay, let's set aside, ISIS and ISIL aside. He set off 2 10K nukes at Yellowstone trying to trip it. He set off another one down to North Carolina. It was armed and ticking down, and my crew had to, the Army had to get down there. They didn't have the disarm code, had to take it off the continental shelf and drop it in the ocean where it
the
blew
Atlantic
up.
Ocean. Yeah.
He tried to set off a nuke on U.S. soil.
If that nuke would have went off in Yellowstone, that would have been interesting.
No, 2 did go off. He created a big ass crack, but Gaia wouldn't let it go. He wants to get rid of the lava that she made to flood all the dumbs with. If they tried to release a bio weapon and run for the dumbs, she was going to turn those dumbs into their tombs. And she's already closed off the route to South America, the high-speed train tunnel. She filled it full of lava.
I'll tell you, I would like a ride on one of those mag lifts.
The White House, not the White House, the White Hats in the Pentagon blew up his dumb in Virginia. back in when was that? August 2012.
Yeah.
Because he was going to do it back then. That's why Gaia had the second son come out and drive around, do all those fancy maneuvers and everything that I caught all the pictures on the last goes, was to generate all that lava. I mean, yeah, did the temperature and everything go up, which everybody claimed was global warming, which it isn't. That was Gaia rigging things for our side. And as soon as she had what she needed, it went back and parked behind the sun, where it stays. It still hasn't gone back out on its track yet. They figured they'll just do that later. And as far as something hitting us, our side boarded the red Kachina, shut it down, and they're still in the process of dealing with the red plasma entity that was in there, but it's no longer a problem. It's not going to be wiping out the planet or hitting it either. And the folks from Nibiru are the descendants of the ancients who built the sun, that artifact we got out there, and our moon, and all the Neemus and all these super high ceiling inside buildings that have been retrofitted by lesser races since then. They're not drunk drivers. Nibiru is a planet-sized ship. So they're not going to be driving into us. They've come by and looked over the shoulder of the forces that have been working with me to take these folks down when they come in and do strikes. And so, I mean, Nibiru's been close by a lot. A lot of people have seen.
What's that? You said a red plasma entity? What was that they got here?
Well, no, you got to understand how these idiots have been running things, these dark entities. If a race evolves on a planet anywhere in this triangle setup, because Sol system, Sirius system, and Procyon, we all have, most systems are double suns, and we all have a brown dwarf. In the middle of the triangle that we formed, there's a black hole. And all our second suns go out, do a loop around, and come back in. They do this every 12,000 years. And it's the same for all three of them. Now, the blue Kachina and the red Kachina. The blue Kachina, if a race is ready to graduate to space and it's susceptible to the fractal virus and the plasma AI infection, the blue Kachina powers it and they graduate. That's the blue-white sun that's been doing filling duty for ours when they had to shut it down to do repairs. The red Kachina, however, if a race like us evolves, or like Gaia, the red Kachina normally wipes the planet. That's the whole destruction thing that they talk about with, destroying the world with fire and brimstone and all of that. It tried to come in and do that 4 times. We just kept kicking it out. And now we finally boarded it and shut it down. So that ain't happening either. So all these doom and gloomers and the Nibiru's and the Planet X folks, and fear mongering is all it is.
So basically, what you're saying is that it is somewhat based in truth, but it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. We've put an end to the possibility of it even happening already.
I no longer produce a show. Somebody I deeply care about and love, but is kind of stuck in that. Those that are listening know that I no longer produce Gordon James Giannotto. Super intelligent, really nice guy, but I fundamentally disagree about that.
I've met with him. I've talked with him a couple times.
Yeah.
He's got a really interesting thing going up there where he lives with him and his wife. But I agree with you.
Super nice guy. I love him dearly. I'm so glad he's getting his hip replacement surgery so that he can walk again. Now, we do have a number of other people on the call, and I want to be sure everybody has a voice.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's just kind of go around. Andrew, you've been awfully quiet. Would you like to add anything or have any questions for Patty?
The only thing I'd like to add for the listeners is when you go into stores, choose with your pocketbooks by reading the labels and not buying anything that is not non-GMO approved, or just read the labels. And also to have Karen and Patty explain how to alkalize the body and repair the DNA. I think that'd be a good few minutes to talk about.
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. And then, Conrad, I want you to chime in as well. But Karen and Patty, let's start with you, Karen.
Well, I think one of the most primary things I spend most of my time educating people on is the importance of the water, which is what we're trying to do there at Standing Rock. It's not just there, it's everywhere. And water really should be H3O. When we talk about the triple spiral, we're talking about spring water that's chemically, alchemically, and every kind of property different. It's an ennobled type of mineral or electrolyte that is ormus and monatomic rich. And that's one of the few things that actually hydrates the brain and every chakra. So when you go to natural springs, they're already basically, for the most part, a lot of mine is 7.7. So if I looked at it from a chakra point of view, or I put a pH color into it, litmus paper or whatever, it will turn actually purple, that indigo color, which means it's vibrating at that level. So the water is excited, and it's vibrating, and it's alive. And that's one of the first key things to do. And there is findaspring.com that people can go to. I appreciate that most people are acidic. They've been eating cooked food. They've been eating non-superfood. And I always talk about virgin food. I think most people know what a virgin is, but, that's first-class food. And if you don't, then you missed that lesson in reproduction class. But that's the same thing with food. Second class is actually organic with the number 9. And I don't want to discuss. So if you've got anything on your stickers or labels, and in fact, up here, the organic section is actually sectioned off with an indigo or a purple like crown. Like, those people know that up here. And anything else on the sticker is substandard. It's basically poison. So I don't even like to say the word genetically modified, but that's what people are becoming. The alkalization is very simple. You can look it up, called the cancer cure. We tend to use baking soda, 1 teaspoon to 2 spoons of maple syrup or molasses or coconut syrup, something along that line. And take that twice a day. So what I've been doing also with my clients is getting them on something called the Master Cleanser, which is basically a liter or 4 cups of water and 2 organic lemons in there. A little bit of Himalayan, Celtic, or Black Sea salt, or all the above, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. And again, a natural plant-based glucose, which again is going to be coconut syrup or something. You can look that up, mastercleanser.com. Up here we've got something great. It's called the Bulk Barn. I'm really happy to say we have that here. So we put in actually a teaspoon or 2 of this, what we call super reds, which is basically organic berries. And we're going basically back to more tree food. And that's the same thing. That's why the aromatherapy is not this woo-woo thing. It's actually the most super concentrated foods, minerals, vitamins, proteins, amino acids you can possibly get to feed your soul. So I love that thing because Thomas, in case you don't know, has got a bear. And I'm actually the white bear clan mother. So it's about bears and climbing trees and, being a tree hugger. But there's a lot to be said, for that. It's frankincense. It's myrrh. Anyone else want to shout out one? We got lemon, limes. You could do a tree, for all those things. And getting grapefruit. Getting all those things are really positive. Everything like spruce tree, fir, pine, cedarwood, sandalwood. Pick a tree, we probably have an essential oil. Cedarwood's amazing. These are not expensive. They're easy to get. And I have several suppliers from Young Living to doTERRA to an excellent one is called Eden's Gardens. Eden's Gardens is phenomenal. These are all therapeutic class grade A1 that I take internally in water and teas. I marinate my feet. And of course, the only way to my heart is through being a colon hydrotherapist, soul therapist, which means water. It means colon hydrotherapy and enemas.
One thing, folks, the vitamin pills you buy out there in the store, garbage.
Yeah.
And buying the stuff, like as Karen says, you have to get it micronized, because one of the other things that Dracos did is change the acids in your stomach so you can't break stuff down very easily from nature to extract what your body needs. So you have to take the extra step. Okay. And then I come at it from the other side, and that is salmonaic, which is what you need to, set all three poles of your DNA to a positive. Without salmonaic, you get three negatives, and the poles push each other apart. Okay. You can't rebuild your third spiral without it. Period. And then beyond that, you need the ingredients your body needs to build with. That means phosphorus. That means, magnesium and whatnot to build the actual third pole of your DNA throughout your entire body. And that turns your body back into an energy storage device.
One of the things too that's really, I'm doing some innovative stuff. We're hoping to get it in. There's a place called Soccer Bit, and a lot of people are getting the Turisk Flasca, which kind of tastes like a little root beer bottle, or the Salta Pastille, like a double salty licorice, which tastes like licorice. But there are many of us that are actually solarians and raw food and vegans, which is the preferred way to go. And right now we're attempting to go get salmonaic salt in. And there's a place called cchobby.se, salmaic salt. And this we can get out of London. And we're just attempting to get it. And we're hoping that we can get Steve Adler and David Wolf to start doing some alchemy, which is what they're famous for. And getting that raw salt itself. And then that way we put it directly in however we used it. And so that's just actually some of the projects. And I've been putting that also into things like enemas as well. And a lot of people now I'm finding because of the radiation levels, we're having to deal with everyone. Like they've got chemo and radiation and drug addictions. And so it's come to the point where people have to take the extra step, as Patty said. Go get an enema bag. They're only, Walmart even carries it. There just isn't excuses anymore. And I'm so on board with one of the Marcus Rothkrantz and Kara Brotzman has done. Amazing stuff. And
I just posted a bunch of sheets of alchemy.
Alchemy.
There's some stuff in there you can help out. Doing these in your own home. At least clean your own environment. I mean, really.
It's so essential, and I can't get over when I come into people's places. Even here, I'm setting up to get, if you say off the grid or whatever, I now know if something happens, I've got an extra solar panel here stored. We have got a fire stove coming in, getting wood put into place, getting the smart meter has already been shielded, gathering a support system around you. I'm getting my colon hydrotherapy machine, and it took me a while to track down again at Iron Faucets how to get basically the smart meter cover and to get the fluoride covers and get those filters. So we should be up and ready to flow.
Yeah, get your own house in order.
Well, there's a guy said this too. If you don't buy the crap and play the good little consumer, they'll quit making it. Let's do this from both sides of the equation.
Vote
Quit
with your
buying
money.
the junk.
Vote with your money.
Yeah.
And get your own house in order. And Karen, thank you so much. I want to tell the audience, I've done colon hydrotherapy. You get younger. I know it sounds gross, if you think about it in your mind. I had to get over a little bit of fear about it, but I'm telling you, man, it is no big deal at all. And you feel so much better. It's like it is such a cleansing. You actually get younger, and everything you guys just said. If you want to repeat that, and I want to give Conrad a chance to participate next. So go ahead, Karen. Do you want to elaborate and kind of restate that?
Yeah, I really encourage people to look at it. I've got a machine called a Prime Pacific Aquanut 100, but there are many different types that are out there. That particular thing, and I'll just put it, it's a plug maybe for the guys, so to speak, no pun intended, but it's part of tantric practice, and it increases basically the hormones and the lovemaking and that type of thing. Because what it actually does is it starts cleaning out in the root chakra. When we start with that, virtually everything comes back. The prostate, better ejaculation, better standing, everything like that, for men and for women. But that, when you do the first 6 hours of colon hydrotherapy, that gets your root chakra back, or 7. So it's almost 7 hours per chakra. So I should talk to people if they want to get, clean from head to toe or open their crown chakra or their third eye, go talk to me after 20, 30 hours.
Yeah, and tell us your Facebook and everything. And everybody, I want to tell you, what you're talking about. We don't give medical advice here. This is education and entertainment only. But I'm telling you, you can kiss cancer goodbye.
I can stay in that because I actually am a medical practitioner and I have 30 years experience. Plus, I've done thousands of them for not only myself, but also for my clients. And I've got 30 years in medical. So I'm not only a quantum, I do skill, biofeedback, radionics, Rife, Scalar. I'm an expert in my fields and was for the Quantum Alliance and also for the biomats and stuff like that. So I was one of the leading practitioners and all those up here and had the first ones to do integrative quantum medical things. So education, you're absolutely right. And until you've done something like that, don't, disregard it. It's such an important thing because we start healing with our minds first. And that is the only way to remove anything, whether it's the virus or the bacteria, or for people that have been military or MyLabbed or sexually assaulted or any kind of trauma or through the rape and the pedophile rings, even just a bad divorce. When you have intercourse with someone, that's the best way to get rid of it. You can rust that relationship and the soul contracting or in the viruses that you engaged in or shared.
Tell everybody where we can find you, Karen.
Great place. You're hanging up here these days. It's so good.
I bet your Facebook or
I know, but that's my new little water place. I'm plugging that in for a second. But what we're going to be doing here is I'm at Facebook, and they can get a hold of me at Karen, and lucyk is like Lucy with a K, with the sky and the diamonds. I don't know. Anyway, Lucy with a K, lucyk actually. macdonald, MacDonald, clanmother 13@gmail with the A. And then the last one will be Skype if you need that appointment, because I see all my clients daily through the virtual office medically this way, Skype or Facebook. And that is actually called Karen Mac, CALLED KARENMAC. That's the best way, and over to you.
And you can also get in touch with me, everybody. My website is super easy to find. It's keithaz.com. So that's KEITHAZ.com. And I will facilitate getting in contact. And I'm telling you, choosing your heart healing. It's available to all of this. And Pattie and Karen, I'm so grateful to you both. It's incredible. We have these tools, so use them. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, sorry. Real quick. Karen, when you said alchemy, were you referring to chemistry?
I'm actually referring to both. I actually am trained as an alchemist in several forms. I've actually done the metallurgy and stuff too. So it's not just an inner transformation, but there really is an alchemical process. So it's not just the table of symbols, but there's a table of elements associated with that.
I did tracing on that.
Yeah, I do.
I'm former field medic in the military and NBC officer, which means nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare. So yeah, I did the tracing on all of that and the radiation issues and all of that. Again, Karen talks about the essential oils and such. However, this is a broad spectrum thing. It's not just essential oils. Stones. Again, you can match stones to because everything at this level of creation is frequency. It's what it is. Your body's frequency. Your mind is frequency. Everything that's solid is frequency. So you can cross that over to stones. You can cross that over to light therapy. You can cross it over to sound therapy. Because that's what the essential oils are. That's what they do. It's the frequency they induce in your body. That's key.
Whether we say it takes us out of the archonic, realms or whatever you want to say, or the lower bowels of hell or whatever, or the lower frequencies. Spruce oil, for example, is about 580 hertz. To free your mind is 105. But most people are living below. If they've got cancer, viruses, any kind of bacteria, diseases, they're in the 40s, 50s, maybe 60s. And so just having coffee every day will drop you down to 55 hertz. So it is a bit of an art. It is an alchemical process. And yes, also I've been with Don Carter, who's like David Wolfe and David Hudson. So there's many things. But as Patty said too,
this is going to sound silly, but if you're dead broke or you're living on the street and you have no other way of doing it, go hug a tree.
A tree.
It works.
Go hug the bark. I do. And that's part of the foraging. I really got to say that's being close to nature, and that's what I do is I forage a lot too. So we get medicinal mushrooms in that sense, like chaga and polypores and different things in the forest, lobster, things that are up high. And I really encourage people, because Patty being a radiation specialist as well, that the planet's basically radioactive and so are the people. And unless you become, the only thing left we've got almost viable, kind of like, Avatar, are the trees and the neural networks that we have. So there's a lot to be said for chaga, and people can look that up with actually David Wolfe. Amazing stuff he's done, and Gabriel Cousins, and like I said, Marcus Rothkrantz. But it starts with busy, everyone's got busy lives, but I mean, you have to take that time to do that, because right now you don't have any left. And we've got to be able to make this shift. And those people that want to be on the ground crew to be in there. And I really want to encourage people to go to Cypress Hills of Canada. Patty has done years of investment of time and energy to put these enclaves together, what you would call an off-grid eco-village that's not just pretty and, you get your own gardens and stuff, but this is actually done with magnetics, but it's armor-proof, but more importantly is it's radiation-proof. And it has certain crystals.
There's other issues too.
Yeah.
When you consider that all these plants, like at Paducah, Kentucky, that have been here for years making nuclear rocks, they are exempt from the CFC laws. They've been dumping 800 tons a year per location of CFCs into the atmosphere, which is why we have no ozone. So we now have not just UVA, UVB, we have UVC and measurable. Almost up to 5 now, actually hitting the surface. That's what's killing your plants. So, I mean, my enclaves are half and half in the ground, and they have to be domed over. I mean, just to protect from the UVC, because we're getting to the point where you're not going to be able to grow anything. And if you do manage to grow something, it's going to bioaccumulate radiation, and you're going to be putting that in your body, no matter how healthy or organic that food is. This is the issue we're faced with here.
And I think the contribution is got to be amounts, and we've got to come together, whether we call it the whirling rainbow or call it whatever. People are going to have to put aside their differences. And I am going to put this in, that Patty has spent, as I have, but Patty spent for the last 3-4 years selfishly and without any income doing anything. And if people wish to assist with supplies or anything like that too, they can get a hold of us both at actually Project Intention a lot with Andrew. Because, I mean, it's come to the point a couple times, like absolutely like no food, no supplies, or whatever else. And because we are both shamans, and if you look up the word shaman, the shaman in the Rus word, as we said, Vitilio, welcome, is that our babas and our forerunners and stuff to the shamanics actually were the ones to shut down the Khazarian mafia. Because
Karen, you said that a little bit fast. Go ahead and say that very slowly. Project Ascension, is that correct?
Project Intention.
Intention.
Yeah, Intention. Right, Andrew?
That's right. Project Intention. YouTube, Facebook, Google+, all over.
Let's go ahead and restate that again, because I want to slow everything down, because this hour is going by so fast. I want to be sure everybody can find you, and we can all participate. You know, what we are doing is illuminating each other. This is not a selfish act. This is a sharing. So please go ahead and restate that.
Well, basically, if people could get a hold, if they've got supplies or they wish to contribute, or a lot of times when I do, let's say gifting or sharing, or as people think barter or whatever, but I don't take cash. But there's a lot of things that's going to be required for this immense project. And a lot of times it has gone to the point where I don't want to see people starving and things like that. This is simple things that people can share within there, or they may have something there or send some wills or something. But and we're going to require a lot of stuff. So once you see the templates done and what's being required, we're going to have to get special supplies to even pull this off before it can be replicated. And the best way to get a hold of us will be at Project Incenssion, likely, or through our emails or Facebooks, or through yourself, Keith. Because this is something I am imploring upon the people, the viewers and the listeners, is that this is something that Pattie is the only one that can probably pull this off, and will be, and the only one I'm giving any authorization to do so. And that's why Pattie's commanding all the, and in chief has got the forces behind her. Because Pattie's done the designs benevolently for everyone, and there are certain crystals that unless you knew, like Stonehenge, how to put it back together in the original tribal way, as her background is with Micmacs and mine is with Shrugged nations. Mine was also one of the original tribes and clans actually off this planet. And we still hold that knowledge and those keys. And we're going to have to put these things and facilities back together. This is not putting a little house together or something you think straw bale. This is way beyond this. It's like trying to recreate almost Stonehenge. So I want to put that very closely to people. This has got to be done to repair the DNA, and we're going to have to put people in through a procedure to be able to help them cleanse and detox, because it's like coming in from a war in this environment on this planet.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that's my responsibility too, is to ensure that people and the medical end of it, food and
And
water.
if you can duplicate that link I just put in the chat to the chat room on the show. I do have a donation link. It will actually say for Radiation Rising, because basically I started this work long ago, even before the Fukushima stuff. But that's why, the whole radiation issue and what it was doing to DNA is why that is labeled that way. I never bothered to change it. They gave me enough grief over that as it was. Not being being a sovereign person and being the executor for that name that was originally on my birth certificate makes it they make things as difficult as possible to keep going, and that's to keep people from getting out from under their thumb.
And finally, through the efforts that we've gone through, I'll just say that we're probably going to be very blessed that we've got 2 different producers and stuff, if people are interested, but it looks like we might have some Hollywood producers that we're discussing different things to facilitate, to get the information out to the people, to bring them up to speed, and to give them that crucial truth, because you have to have the truth and nothing but it anymore. Anyway, thanks for your help and your understanding. I appreciate it.
It's all about love. What I've been saying is love is the only thing that's real. The only thing that's real is love. Mm-hmm. Love is the only thing that's real. We are running out of show very quickly. And Conrad, you've been so patient. Would you like to ask any questions or any comments, sir?
Yeah, I have a comment, and I thought I'd put the question open if anybody else would like to add to it. I'm right now feeling, I guess I'd say, the warm breath of an announcement about to happen. Mm-hmm. In the 2015 Paris Accords, which recently included the agreement for NESARA, which is the financial reset. Mm-hmm. And as part of our getting the gold that is now on deposit in Reno in the United States Republic Treasury, to be able to issue our sovereign gold currency, with 209 other sovereign countries have signed this agreement, and they're waiting on the United States because the requirement for us to get the gold was that we reconstitute our republic, which of course has been done. And so it sets up a new financial system, and we're under pressure, big pressure from all these other countries. China required that we make this announcement, and that kicks off the whole thing. So it seems like timing-wise, it almost has to be done, and I'm feeling Saturday. So I'm thinking this announcement is going to be happening Saturday, and that's also a jubilee. It eliminates all bank loans. It cancels them out and pays them off as part of the gold that was shipped. That's all been set up for payment. And so all mortgages go away, bank loans go away, credit card balances go away. First of the year, they're saying all Social Security checks will go, minimum will go up to $2,500. So there's all these things coming in place, and there's a lot of announcements about Paul Ryan being the third person in line. 3.5 weeks ago was inaugurated as since they have General Dunford got the resignations of both Obama and Biden just a year ago now. So come the 1st of December. So that means Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, is the incumbent president in actuality, and they're going to need to bring these things out with the least amount of trauma to the public in the way of announcements, and it almost has to happen this weekend in order to make these deadlines occur. So I thought I'd bring that forward and see if anybody else had any input or comment on that.
Yeah, this isn't going to be done overnight. You know what I mean? And even what they're planning to do is a stopgap. Because you've got to bear in mind, all the money that is currently in circulation, and not just here, it's all full of negative symbology.
Right. We don't want...
And that is magic. Every time you handle it and deal with it, you're perpetuating that system.
We really don't want that. That actually violates all international and tribal laws and clan laws. And it actually violates the proclamation of the Clan Mother since 2013.
But but we can't change it overnight, obviously, because people would not just starve but die. So yeah, we have to do something in the interim. Stopgap measures.
I heard an interesting thing that Trump said he was going to try to get all the big corporations to get their money from overseas, and what he would do is, instead of the like a 35% tax, I think he said he's only going to charge them 1% to try to get the money back over here. I don't know if that ties in.
Yeah, because there's a tax for any money you shift over 10,000.
Yep.
Just to transport it across the border.
I always go back to taking back our own power, because we've been hoodwinked into this debt-based economy, right? Money system. And what you're talking about, Patty and Karen, is the symbology in the very bills. It used to be when we exchanged precious metals, the higher frequencies of the higher metals, gold or platinum or silver, we're imbuing those frequencies.
An offset.
Yeah. So we can get back to that, and we can also choose to own our own power, take back the energy that's been stolen from us, in our awareness of the abundance that we share with each other, so we can short circuit that harm that's been done to us and take back our energy. Own our own spiritual power.
Here's the interesting thing. What was taking off of this planet, the gold and the other minerals, does not have DNA in it. Once we get back to the alchemy thing, anybody can create gold via alchemy in their own body with their DNA signature on it, and that will become a valuable medium.
I know that my DNA has been taken off planet. It seems like it's one of the most valuable commodities. And Patty, what you were talking about, being a very unique place here, I feel like we could do a whole nother show like tomorrow, or continue this. Obviously, we're running out of time, and I do want to make a few announcements. I will be doing a show on Sunday night And so I hope everybody, John and Conrad and anybody else that wants to, it will be an open show, unlike this one, which is a guest-oriented format. And Patty, I just can't thank you enough. And Karen, really...
There's one brain-breaking video that people need to see. It's on YouTube. It's called "There Are No Trees on Flat Earth." Now, ignore the flat Earth thing, and I don't know where they get that from, and why they even stuck that on there, because one does not equal the other. But it's an interesting video, and when you really get into that, you'll understand where the ley lines come from.
Patty,
when this world was still under the control of the ancients, way, 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 way back, a long time ago, when the Earth wasn't even here.
Patty, in my view, the whole flat Earth thing is a psyop.
It is.
Which was created this is what I looked at it when I psychically said, "What's the deal with this?" Because it had so many legs. It's like, really. So I looked at it, and it looks like it came from an artificial intelligence computer array in a deep underground military base, which they have kind of a pet name for, a satanic, like not Big Blue, but Baal or some kind of dark satanic name for. And they spat it out, and the guy said, "This is too stupid. Nobody's going to believe this." But they had processed all this, data mining they've done with Facebook and the internet and all this stuff, and said, "No, this is going to work." And they were laughing their asses off, but yet here it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, we are almost out of show. I want to tell everybody again, Sunday night, I want to continue this conversation. Everybody's invited. We've had so much to talk about, Patty, with what you've shared with us. And I will be discussing it and continuing. I want to say that next week, it looks like Sean David Morton will be our guest. And the following week, I'm going to have, Thomas and I will have Dr. James Chappelle on. It's so interesting, Patty, that for myself, I keep networking with people, and we're on a parallel path. It's like we already know this, and I just met you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I found that to get things done, that's happened right along.
Yeah.
When you need to do something and you don't have the resources to do it, you come across those who do. You group together and you do what needs to get done.
Now, I want to allow any final comments. Thomas, do you have any questions or anything you want to add?
Well, it was actually very, very informative. There's not enough time for this. There really isn't.
I know. It's fantastic.
I'm trying to write down anything I can at this point. But,
I could do a 6-month course at a college, 8 to 12 hours a day, and still have trouble getting all of the information out.
I'm just trying to get my hand uncramped from the writing for that.
And we will do it again. Karen,
yes,
Patty, yeah. I still want to have you back as soon as you guys would like to be on with us again. Andrew, any last comments? We've got probably about 5 minutes left.
No, just like I said before, people just got to educate themselves and vote with their pocketbooks. People are screaming, "Oh, we need this labeled non-GMO. We need this labeled. We need this labeled." We don't need anything labeled. Just look at the labels and educate yourself, and don't buy the poison. Buy the natural, organic, non-GMO foods. It's just that simple.
And I've got to say, I've been looking lately since I was doing some of the tower gardening, but the hydroponics. But really, IKEA came out with stuff now that's just a couple different shelves with a bit of a grow light, and you can start growing your own different fruits inside. And I know that's what we do. We forage, and I know I can do it. I've done it. We can do it, and I have been without banking and commerce for a long time. And I put in probably, I would say, community hours, about 12 to 16 hours a day, and do everything through, as people think, bartering is their closest terminology. But there's always something in there. And I do a lot of stuff totally pro bono all the time for people. And
thing,
that's
folks.
The way we did do it tribally.
Another thing, folks. ADHD and ADD are complete fabrications.
Yeah.
Get your kids off that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pharmaceuticals are not. I advise anybody that is currently on any kind of mood-altering pharmaceuticals. Those are the hardest things. They're worse than heroin, in my opinion. Very difficult to cleanse from, but I would suggest looking at cleansing from those. And John, I want to make a comment. You texted me a question. After this show, Terry Joyce will be on next, and she mostly does an open roundtable format. So if anybody wants to join with that, and John, I'll share you her contact if you want to Skype into her, but her phone lines will be open as well. And Terry Joyce is a really fantastic, wonderful human being. I love her tremendously.
Real quick before the end.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, real quick. You know, the ADD and the ADHD, you know, I was, you know, quote unquote diagnosed when I was a kid and on that crap for a while. But, you know, nowadays it's gotten to the point, if your child gets into some sort of altercation, you know, someone pushed me or you said a bad word, and the parent, you know, just says, you know, kids being kids type stuff, you know, they'll actually forcibly put these kids into some sort of psychological evaluation and put them on the drug.
That's right.
Again, that's actually knowing law. I mean, and that's the problem is that a lot of the parents don't. And I know, having been a nurse, you know, there are ways around that. And I mean, that'd be the first thing, is that the mother's really got to start taking responsibility. And as Keith said, it starts with love. If you can't love yourself, you can't love another. And we need to get back to the mother.
That's the end of the show. Coming up next week, Sean David Morton. Following that, David Chappelle. And then December 1st, simul broadcast with David Scott. Thank you all. We are off air.
Okay.
You're having Dave Chappelle on?
No, James. Dave Chappelle. No, Dr. James Chappelle.
You scared me there for a sec. I was like, no fucking way.
David Scott and James Chappelle. Dr. James Chappelle. This is somebody I just met, and is a tremendous human being. You know, you guys, when I say love is all that's real, it's like it's so amazing to me how much parallel we are. We're an army, and we're just meeting each other.
Down here.
I'm sorry, what, Patty?
Down here.
Oh, right. Yes. And when I was trying to put it as carefully as I could when I said, what are my guides? I have a friend who's part of the fleet that's fighting these draconians and, you know, this battle in space. That she came to me, and it was just like, I was just blown away. It's like all this incredible love. It's like, yes, you know, and I feel, you know.
You're good.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm talking to someone else. Sorry.
Anyways, it's a very exciting time. But my message is always that it's our creative energy that illuminates each other. So we are not done. It's not like, you know, in a way, it's only just started. We've been freed of some of the chains that have been binding us. I'm feeling so much more. I don't know how to explain it, but there's just so much to do. But it seems like we've moved into a space that is easier to share the fun and the joy and the blessings that we are experiencing and the abundance that is here with us.
You know why, Keith? It's when we get into our heart that provides the opportunity for us to take back our power as a civilization.
It's even more basic than that. It's the frequency. And when you equate the frequencies to feelings, that one drives the other. It's as simple as that.
I can't wait to share, Patty, with you the music I've been doing. I was playing guitar right prior to the show. When I came on air, you heard me say I don't even know if there was a show before us. Normally I tune in, but
there was dead air. There was dead air before this.
Yeah. Thank you, Conrad. That's what I thought, because that's not surprising to me because Patty, as you were expressing the fecal matter is hitting the rotating blades, and those people that are kind of have some stuff to work with are really having to deal with it
Who was
now.
on before? Who was supposed to be
Patty
on before?
Aiken, Heil Hitler and all that. I'm sorry, but that's where she's kind of at. She has some positiveness in her, but is really has a little bit of growing up to do, in my opinion.
Hey, I got a question. I've always been